This is basically a continuation of the last tutorial video, but yeah. Hey, what's up guys, my name's Firestorm, and today we're going to be discussing weapon ranks. Basically a continuation of weapon experience, as I just said. Although, there are actually two variants in weapon ranks, and also weapon ranks is actually the easier branching path than the other one we're going to discuss next week. But yeah, one of these variants is actually less optimal than the other, and you will see why. With that said, let's get started. I think in the beginning here we're going to start off by going over a few things. First of all, we want to go over our plugin, which we're going to be using Equip Requirements from Yanfly, which is an extension of Equip Core. I felt it was necessary to point that out. It actually says right here too. We're going to go to our database immediately. We're going to go over to our classes, because there's a little change I made from the last tutorial, which is I added a skill type called Weapon Rank. One of the variants is going to require actors to, well, it's not going to require them, it's just going to show off their weapon ranks as skills. The other one being switches, but I'll explain that one later. So we want to keep it all nice and organized, so we're going to add an entire skill type for it. Now let's go to our weapons. We have Katana, Machete, and Rapier. Now the reason there are three weapons is because one of them is for the skill method, and these other two are for the switch method. However, these have a slight flaw to them. When I say slight, I mean actually it's a big flaw, which I'll go over in the video. But the last thing I want to go over in this beginning part are the switches and variables, which are I think, yeah, there's 6 of them. We got Runefire gets sword rank E. You can't see it, but it's E. D. Hero gets rank E, and Hero gets rank D. We also have 2 weapon rank switches. So basically, the switch one of the variants is going to require switches, so that's what all these for. And plus, we want to start off with the E rank, and then we want to, once we reach the D rank, we can equip weapons of that same rank, but I'll go over that later too. And these two are mostly for turning on these parallel common events, which I will explain right now. Okay, so I'm gonna put this little snippet in here because I actually found out something. In the plugin not plugin parameters, there's actually a script here, specifically here, that states that you can have weapons and armors tied to a specific character, which I'm gonna be using from now on. I don't explain it. I don't even show it because I don't even have it yet in the previous clips. But yeah, I'm gonna be establishing this. That doesn't mean one that says Runefire, one that says Herald. I just want that to be understood. And if we go into our weapons here, we'll see that we have one for Herald and one for Runefire. Okay, it's time to go over the first variant, which is switches. What was originally going to be the least optimal is actually basically the same effectiveness as the other one. Because as I just explained in the previous clip, I found out a way that you can tie it to a specific character. Well, okay, I didn't find out a way. I mean, technically, it was in the plugin description, which I didn't check enough. But anyways, we're gonna set this event and also the skills event to a parallel event, which means that once this specific switch, which we call weapon ranks, and then switch in parentheses, you can't really see it because it's cut off, but it's there. Once this is turned on, this will continue to cycle, I believe. I don't have enough experience with parallel events, and I'm also not sure if these activate during battle. But anyways, we're gonna have 2 conditional branches, each one per character. Now, this is the same thing I do for the skills variant. However, if you want higher ranks like C, B, A, if you want to, you just need to keep adding conditional branches. I think, yeah. Just make sure they're below each one for each, or actually I think that's just for organization purposes. But anyways, if Runefire sword rank at any time is greater or equal to 10, same with Herald, they will gain a switch which is corresponding to that. Well, each of them has their own switch. If we go to our weapons here, Machete is Runefire's preferred weapon and requires a D rank. Same with the Rapier, which is Herald's preferred weapon. And Runefire's switch is 42, Herald's is 44. As we can see here, 42 and 44. If we use this conditional script found in the plugin description, we can make it so that these are tied to the specific characters. Originally, they weren't going to be because that was the one problem. I thought you weren't able to. And then once someone had that specific switch, for say like if someone had one of these switches on, then anyone could basically use this weapon, which was definitely a problem that arose. Alright, next is the skill variants. Actually, Sword Rank E and Sword Rank D. These are just generic skills with the skill type weapon rank. Their occasion being never. These are just to show that you do have that specific rank. Well, you know what? Never mind. I was gonna mention something about the eventing, but we're gonna talk about that straight after. But anyways, if we go to our common events for skills, basically the same thing. We turn on parallel events, but we're using a different switch, weapon ranks, for skills. This is only because we want to try to use only one of them, not both of them at the same time. Although you definitely could. Same thing as before, conditional branches. However, this time we're gonna add specific skill. This being Runefire gets Sword Rank D and Herald gets Sword Rank D. Alright, now it's time to talk about the eventing. So we have 3 events here. We have our auto run event, which is basically setting everything up, including setting the variables to 0 for the sword ranks, setting the switches to being on, but only the rank E switches, because we want to actually gain our rank D switches. And there's no... Also in this tutorial, I should mention that there's no way to get our experience down, but if you want to make it so that you can decrease your weapon experience, you definitely could. We want to give everyone Sword Rank E just to save us the trouble. We could just individually give them Sword Rank E. Like say perhaps someone else starts off with Sword Rank D instead. You could just individually give whoever you want Sword Rank E. This is basically this is quote unquote give the green lights, which is turning on the parallel common events. Then we're gonna have a self switch A, which, well, closes the page. We have a chest. That's a bush. We have a chest here that basically just gives us a katana, machete, and rapier. Generic chest event. And then we have this wizard, this mystical swordsman, who will increase our sword rank of whoever we want by 5. This is just for demonstration purposes. We will demonstrate that in the tutorial. I think it should be taken into account that you definitely only want one of these switches. I know I mentioned that in the last clip, but you only want one of these switches at the same time. Well, granted, there's different variants, so yeah, you want to change the switch based on the variant. However, during this tutorial, we're gonna have both variants on, so we can see that they both still work. It's just that you definitely don't need both of these. That's just something to take into consideration. Okay, it's time for a demonstration. Apologies if anything was unclear during the tutorial, but hopefully I'll be able to explain most of it here. We start a new game. Okay, at this point the auto run event should have taken place, in which it resets all our variable switches and and give us any skills that we need, such as Sword Rank E for Runefire, and actually Herald also has Sword Rank E. Again, this demonstration is going to contain both switches and skills. Oh, that's now loading. We're gonna open this chest. Okay, I did not mean to click there. We're gonna open this chest. We're gonna get katana, machete, and rapier. Talk to this guy. Now at this point we should have 0 sword rank for each of them. for each command, I guess, for each choice, for each selected character, we're gonna get 5 sword rank. So we want to get 2. We want to do this 2 times for each character because it'll get us 10 rank or 10 experience, and we'll be able to get the D rank for swords for both of them. So we want to do this for Herald twice too. If we exit, we'll check our skills. Herald has sword rank D. Runefire also has sword rank D. Now we want to try to see if we can equip any of them. So Runefire's preferred weapon is machete. He can't equip Herald's because of the name script. He can equip the katana, and he can equip the machete. If we use left or right, we can see the requirements. That's the switch name. And then this is the skill name. So Runefire can equip that. Go to Herald's. You can equip the sword, obviously, because it's no requirement, but we're not talking about that. You can equip the katana because he also has sword rank D, and it's just a general weapon. If we take out Runefire's machete and we go to Herald, you can see that he clearly can't equip the machete. Alright, that's me for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Yes, that may have been confusing, however, but I tried to explain the best I could. I'm not sure if there are probably some things unclear, but yeah, it's pretty much it. It's just it's a pretty easy tutorial, but next week is definitely gonna be a lot more on the difficult side. Because next week's actually gaining weapon skills. I think I'm just gonna call weapon skills for simplicity's sake. But yeah, if you like this video, please consider slashing that like button or setting ablaze that subscribe button. And with that, I say, see you guys, and stay safe.